Hello, right, you join me now when this might not be a particularly interesting video, but I'm going to try and start my Unimog, which doesn't sound very interesting, but it's been sat there for about a year, and I guess, I'm trying to think what will be wrong with it. I'm pretty sure the brake fluid will be empty because the reservoir empties itself, and I did fix it, it was years ago, and I can't quite remember where it leaked and what I did to fix it, but I think there's a little plastic reservoir and there's a pipe that goes from that to the top of the master cylinder, and I think it leaks somewhere along there. So when there's no fluid in the reservoir, I think there is still fluid in the master cylinder, although maybe not, because from memory, if I put my foot on the brake it goes to the floor. Anyway, what I'm going to try and do is fill up the reservoir and leave it for a little bit, and that hopefully, I'm hoping that'll work so I don't have to bleed it if I leave it for a day or so. I have a feeling it might work, but I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to try and do that. So that's one problem. And then the battery, there's two batteries on it. It's 24 volts. So the batteries were new, but they've been sat out here for quite a while. So out in the cold over winter, so they might not have much charge in them. So I may need to jump start it from something else, but we'll see. Anyway, let's have a look. Well, I'll have a look at the brake fluid first, and we'll see what's going on with that. Right, the reservoir is down, where is it? There it is. So, I'm pretty sure this is empty. Right, got that out. Put that there, keep it clean. Yep, completely empty. So, I think now, I'm guessing when I pour this in here, hopefully there'll be some air bubbles pop up. Just put a bit in, see what happens. No air bubbles yet. Oh well, I think I'll fill this up and leave it for a day or so. I don't think this is the right top for the wrong bottle. Let's just plop that back there. There. Oh, the other thing I need to do, because it's not been run for a while, is prime the fuel, because it's petrol, and the petrol pump is a mechanical pump which is just there, and I think there's a diaphragm or something that leaks, or I don't know what it does, but the fuel if you leave it for a few weeks, the fuel drains back to the tank. So I need to manually pump that, which where is it? There it is. No, here it is. That's it. Little arm there. So if I do that for a while, eventually it'll feel a bit stiffer. It might take a minute or two. Oh, I can smell fuel, so something's happening. From memory, the carburettor, which is there, there's like a tray underneath the carburettor, which seems to be there to collect fuel when it leaks, which is quite useful. But if I keep doing this, if I keep pumping this, eventually fuel leaks out of the carburettor somewhere into that tray, so then I know it's full. I don't think that's quite how they designed it, but it works for me. Well, it's not damp with fuel at all, but I can smell fuel, so we could perhaps try cranking it, but the batteries may well be flat, so we'll have a go anyway. I don't know if you can see on the camera all these cobwebs. Certainly been here a while. Right, somewhere here I've got the keys. No, here they are. Load of leaves in there. That's a big battery cut-off switch. Let me get in, that might be easier. But no, I won't get in. We'll choke out. Make sure it's in neutral. Oh, the light's on. That's good. Give it a go. Wow, that's encouraging. It does crank over. So let me just try pumping the fuel a bit more. Right, I'm still pumping away at this fuel pump. I've been doing it for about 2 minutes now, maybe a bit longer. There's still no fuel coming out of the carburetor, and I'm not sure if I can smell petrol or not. I initially could smell petrol, but I'm not sure now. So I'm just going to carry on pumping it a little bit more, because it definitely feels like there's something happening. And then I'm just going to try and crank it and see what happens. But I'm sure when I've done this before, I've been pumping it like this and petrol has come out of something on the carburetor. It just sort of overflows. I don't quite know what it does, but it doesn't seem to have done that. There is a chance that there's no petrol in it, but I think there is. Well, it may have all evaporated away. Anyway, let's try that. Actually, it might be easy with the dump truck here. I can stand on it. Right, we're here. So, choke's out. Leaves everywhere. We've got the fuel turned on, that's a good point. Yeah, fuel's on. There's a fuel thing down here. That's on, that's the reserve tank, and that's off. So maybe I'll put it on reserve. Maybe. Although it says... No, I think... yeah, it's put on reserve. Oh, God. Which is about there. Let's try manually doing that. Maybe there was no fuel in the... Oh, I can get out. Maybe there was no fuel in the main tank, and there's some in the reserve tank. I can get by here. So let's get back to doing this. Oh, yeah, there, I can see there's a couple of drops. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, just spilling out. Brilliant, so that's it. I'm pretty sure that'll start now. Let's... God, you've got to be mildly fit to actually get in. Right, choke, neutral, give it a go. Oh, oh, perfect. Ah, that's brilliant. Started straight up more or less once it got fuel. Just choking a bit. It's not firing on all 6, but it's something close. brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic news. So we just need to, batteries weren't flat. It's got well, it's hardly got any fuel in it, but it's obviously got enough to make it run. So I daren't put my foot on the brake for fear of it going to the floor. So I might wait till, but we'll have a look at the brake fluid now, see if that's changed at all, if there's any bubbles in it. But no, that's great. Let's see if we actually get it to move. Remember where all the levers are, what they do. I'll just shut this door so I don't. Hang on. That'll do. Right, see what. Oh, there we go. Oh, I think the brakes are stuck on. Down. Oh, no, we're moving. We'll move backwards, see if we can do forwards. Hey! Oh yeah, that feels a bit better. I think the brakes are easing off. Just a couple of. Yeah, that's fantastic. Alright, let's go. I'll go this way a bit, away from the dump truck. What's happened here? There we go. Tree there, trying to get in. Right, let's go and have a look what's happened with the brakes. Oh. That'll do. Well, there's a bubble in there, so it could have had a couple of bubbles coming up. Yeah, I think, let me just turn it off before it turns itself off. I think what we'll do, I'll leave it for now. Yeah, I'll leave it for now, let that brake fluid hopefully seep in, and then maybe tomorrow come back, see how the brakes feel. They may well need bleeding. I've bled them before and it's all pretty straightforward. They just, all the bleed nipples come undone. But it's obviously not as nice when you're outside. It's a lot easier in a workshop. Anyway, but yes, so I'll come back tomorrow, see what the brake fluid's like, see if the brake pedal's hard. I might bring some tools in case I have to bleed it. But I'm pleased about that. The batteries were all right. There's a bit of fuel in it. I might perhaps want to bring some fuel because I want to take this to work. And one of the reasons I want to take it to work, one is to get it inside, which is a bit silly now that winter's finished. But and the other reason is this winch, which is quite useful. There's something wrong with this part of it. This is the handle that actually engages it, and there's something wrong with it. It's not so bad now, but oh, there's it. Moves. That's it. It moves way too far. It should go from there to there, and it locks in place. But at the moment, it goes all over the place. So I guess whatever's in there, there must be some sort of fork or something. I don't know, but something somewhere isn't quite right, and that I can't remember now. It's a bit of a faff to use this, but it's very, very powerful, so it's pretty good. But from memory, I can't disengage it when there's pressure on it or something like that. You operate it from the lever inside on the PTO and this lever and this lever, and it's a bit of a faff, but it's really powerful, so it's really good. But there's something wrong with this lever which needs sorting out. I've worked on this thing a bit before, renewing various things, and it's all quite chunky and basic and straightforward, so it's one of those things you can kind of look at it and see how it works without having to be looking too much stuff up. But anyway, we'll come back tomorrow, see what the brakes are like, see what everything else is like. I can drive it down the lane a bit first, make sure everything's okay, then drive it to work and do something to this winch, and there was something else to do, I can't remember, a couple of little jobs, so yeah, so we'll do that. So, see you tomorrow. Okay, we're back for the second day. I've got some fuel and we need to check the brakes and a couple of other little bits and bobs. So we'll put some fuel in now. I did think that this was like Land Rovers where it's got a thing that pulls out, but it hasn't, so hopefully I can slosh it in enough somehow. I've never really worked out what miles per gallon this does, but I think it's single figures. Right, we'll just have a look at the brake fluid reservoir. Which hopefully hasn't gone down much. No, it's not. That's okay, it's just as it was, so hopefully the brakes will be okay. Right there. Straight up, so we'll jump in now and drive off. I'll see you in a bit. Realised I haven't checked if you have any water in the. I've just had a look, and the top of the header tank, I don't know what you call it, it's bone dry. So I'll try and put some water in, which is always fun. Right, we'll carry on. Got the Unimog back here, perfectly alright, back to work. So over the next week or so, maybe a bit longer, I'll do all the little jobs that need doing to it. It needs a good clean, and there's a few things that need greasing and oiling. I think the brakes do need bleeding. They're not too bad, but I think there's a bit of air in the system somewhere, so I need to bleed the brakes, which is quite easy here in the workshop. And there's something else that needs doing. I can't remember, but anyway. So yeah, it's good to get it back inside, 'cause it doesn't do it any good being outside. And yeah, I hope this wasn't too boring, watching me start a Unimog. It's not the most exciting thing, but anyway, see you next time. Cheerio, bye.